Hey guys, Steve back. We're going to go over a way to procedurally animate, put lights on a curve, change the count, and do it all with geometry nodes. And then when we're done, we'll be able to come in here with the draw pin on the surface, and we'll be able to draw whatever we want. Sounds like fun. We'll jump right in. Let's do it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and set up my workspace here. I'm going to want to drop in a curved circle. I'm going to want to drop in a plane, and I'll scale the plane up just a little bit. And I'm going to drop in a point light. Point light, I'm going to hit G and Z and kind of bring that down just a touch. And we're going to use distribute points on faces. And let me go ahead and get the workspace with a nice vertical cut right here. Go to Geo Nodes, and with that curve Bezier selected, I'll create a new one. And what we want to do, and I'll just jump into edit mode to show you, this is going to give us 4 lights because of each point, because I'm instancing the lights on the points. So that's nice and easy. So let's drop in an instance on points. Boom. Let's grab our point light, drop it in as an object info node, and we'll tag the geometry into the instances here. And I think we could go ahead as usual, Control J that, and just make it look nice up front. Kind of color that, properties, turn the screen size up for anything. So if you want to tag what you're doing, like grab this and left click it right here on that little line and hit F2. And this could be your main geo instances. And this will grow and get a little bigger, so that'll kind of make more sense. I think that looks pretty good so far. And don't forget to just make a save point. I'm just going to call this blah, blah, blah. Hit enter a couple times. Now our circle's gone because we instanced. So what you have to do is put in a join geometry right here. And we can just tag that directly in. And our circle's back. Now, we can't really see anything, so let's go ahead and transform this. And let's throw in a transform geometry right here, and I'll tag this in right there. Now, I can bring this up 0.5 on, not slash, I always hit the slash, 0.5, and then we should be able to see our lights. But they are underneath. All right, that's cool. So let's bring those up a little further. So maybe 1.5 works a little better. And just so we can see that it's actually working, I'll jump over here into the rendered view so you can see what's going on. And now let's bring this back over. And what I want to do is, this is a curve coming in. So I want to sample the curve, and what this is going to do, this is going to give us extra geometry. And so we bring this up every time one of these goes up. Like if we just drop this in at 1, then we're going to get 1 on the count. We'd get 2 on the count, and now you've resampled the geo. Now we're back up to 4, the original, but this is going to kind of populate it for us, which is pretty cool. So I think something like 8 right now seems pretty good. That's reasonable. And this is part of my main geo, so I'm going to throw this in here and just make a little save point while I'm at it. And now it's pretty cool. You can actually come directly in here, and I'll jump into edit mode. I've got all these selected. I can hit X, and I'm deleting the vertices, but the Bezier circle, you can see it's still there. So now I can grab the draw pin, select surface, and I can now start drawing. And I can draw my lights out into the scene. Probably make more sense if you take up a top view and draw your lines in like that. And I could just make a nice little perimeter here with the lights, however I want to do it. I'll jump back into object mode with tab, and then I could come back over to the resample, and I could bring this up and kind of give it some nice outward lighting. And if I want, I can bring the lighting up just a touch. Now, unfortunately, that's just a point light, and that's not really super useful. If you want, you could bring the scale in here. I'll just shift and left click drag and kind of bring these down. Whoops, not that far. There we go. Something like right there, just so we can see what's going on. Now I want to come over here to my object info node, and I'm going to shift AS, and I'm going to type in switch, and I'm just going to drop in a switch, grab another object info. This is set to geometry, so we're able to actually switch this, color, string, geometry, texture, materials, and so on. And I don't want a point light in this, but I'm going to go ahead and tag this in right here. And then over here, I'm going to lock the workspace. I'm going to lock this workspace too. So if I click off of something, I don't go away from what I'm working on. Let's bring the group input down. And I'm going to bring out the count. And I can bring out the switch. That looks good. I can bring out both object infos if I wish. And I can switch between these. So now I'm going to drop in a different type of light. I could drag in an area light. G and Z, kind of bring that down below. And I want to come over here, and I'll select the area from the list, just make it easy. And so now the area light's in there, and so I could switch this to area lights, or I can have it to be point lights. Now they do all happen to be flipped, and now they're all facing upwards, but that is just indicative of the scale. I could get away with that with the point light because that is an omni light, but I'll have to bring the scale back down to something sensible here, and I don't have to keep going back over there. I can just go to the count here and kind of switch that up. I think we'll just go with like 6 lights for right now. And I'm pretty sure that is just all the stuff I drew earlier. So let me grab my Bezier and jump into edit, and we'll get rid of all of that. And I've still got these lights. So let me see if I can grab these as well. Now there it is. It's kind of hidden off in the back behind my T panel. Let me get rid of the T panel. And I'll hit X and delete those vertices. Okay, cool. So now I just want to draw a little squig here, and I'll jump back out. And don't forget, you want to put as instance on. I know I didn't mention that. You beat me up for that. You got original and relative. Relative should go with it. And it looks like the scale is going to have to go back to 1 on that, and I'll have to do that a different way. Okay, so that's cool. So now what we can do is throw in a trim, and we'll throw in a trim curve right here after the resample, and this will now give us that option to kind of lead in with an animation. If you want, you can do that, and you could you could hit I over this, pull up a timeline. I don't really choose to do it this way, but you can. You can drop in a timeline over here, press N. There's actually an N panel in almost everything. So I could do that, or I could, let's see, frame 1. You just hit I, and then come out to like frame 100 and drag that back, and then hit I again. Drag this to 100 as my main frames, and then hit play. And that'll kind of act like a little train, which is pretty cool. All right, so for the start, I'm going to pull this out and type in scene. And I want scene time seconds. And then I'm also going to throw in, whoa, where'd that menu go? I'll throw in a utility math node, set it to multiply, and set this to something like 0.005. That should give me about the same result as the other one. And that way you could, have that control out here, and it's not keyframes doing that for you. And that looks pretty good. All right, let's have a little bit of fun and come back over here. Doesn't matter which light we're focused on, they'll all get the same thing. Now right here, I think after the switch would be a good place to put it. I'd like to throw in, let me make a little more room. I want to throw in a cone right here. The geometry nodes cone, and we'll grab another transform. And let's tag this in right here. And let's tag this in right there. And now we've got a cone. And I have a different idea. Let's get a geometry 2 instances. And let's tag that in right there. And let's tag this in right here. Now each one of these will get a cone. That's pretty cool. Let's kind of like mess around with it a little bit though, because I don't like how this looks just yet. The depth could come down, the radius top could come out just a little bit and make all these like little hoods, and then could bring these down, kind of encapsulate the lights, if you will. I think the overall size of these is just a little bit too big. So we could just bring all this in a touch. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Maybe bring that up a little bit. Where's my, there it is. Okay, so let's drop in an extrude mesh. And let's see, how's this gonna work and look really good. Let's grab a delete geometry as well. And I'm gonna throw the delete geometry right here. And then the extrude right here. And I just wanna grab the top selection. And that's kind of giving me what I want. Yeah, I'm on the wrong thing here. Let's mute the extrude and let's bring the bottom to the delete geometry. There we go. Don't really need the extrude, but let's see, what can we do with this? I guess you could make it look kind of cool and maybe turn individual on. Yeah, just leave that on. It doesn't hurt anything. But anyways, now we've deleted the inside here, and I do want to actually see this have a material. So I'm going to throw a set material node right here. I'll go to materials, I'll click new, and new again. I'll grab this one. I want to set this to a diffuse, BSDF. Doesn't necessarily matter what the color is. Something kind of light blue. Now let's come over here and check this thing out. Let's tag the color in. Looks cool. Let's go to scene lights and scene world. And now we've got these neat little hoods all over the place. So you could technically make street lights out of this. And I think we could take it like a little step further here. And if we're going to do geometry to instances, let's do it all the way. And I'll hit S and X to kind of scale those in just a touch. And let's do a little slice here, create a save point, clean everything up. I'll throw another instance in here. I'll do a cylinder, maybe. There we go. I'll do a cylinder. I'm going to need a transform, so you can always salvage the nodes that are kind of like around here if you want. Set material. Let's salvage that as well. In fact, I can go over here. Doesn't necessarily matter. And I'll tag all of this in right here to the instances. And now we've got to work on this and make it look good so it doesn't like screw everything up the way we're trying to look at it. And the radius can certainly come in. I can come over here on the Z, bring this maybe up, perhaps scale it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It is kind of right in the way though of the light, but I think we can get around that. I got an idea. Let's drag this scale out. No, that's not what I want. I think if we go with something like an octagon. That might look kind of nice. Side segments, radius. Here, let's look at it like this. Put the radius to 0 for some reason. All right, so it could just be like glass, but not necessarily what I want. So we could bring the lights up from here and have them kind of fuse out, and then the top, try to pinch the top down. So let's see if I could grab and extrude individual off. Let's grab the top and let's go to the negative here. Let's see if that's going to do. All right, no, that's definitely not going to do what I want. So Control X, let's do a scale elements, and let's tag the top of our cylinder into here. And now we can pinch that down. Very nice. I like that. And no one has to see that there's no actual structure to it. I mean, you could do a lot more work to this if you want. Doesn't really matter. And overall, I can bring that down a touch and then go to the lights. Where's my light transform? Let's bring the light transform and bring our lights, just the lights, up. All right, where's my transform for just the lights? I don't think I've got one. So let's go ahead and steal a transform over here. Let's put one right here. And let's bring the light right there. And then if I was to switch this to the area lights or whatever lights, I mean, kind of a pain, but I think that'll work good. And I think we could throw in a scale elements here for that one. And we should be able, it's not going to give it to me. All right, no worries. There's always another way. Let's bring that up. And then I think the X and the Y should be able to bring the hood in just enough. All right, save point, jump over. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's kind of poking through. I think that looks nice. There we go. Now we've got something pretty cool. Let's turn off scene world and go back over here. Scene world off. And now you can come over to the intensity of the actual lights themselves. If I could unpin this, and you could change the color. And I actually did a tutorial on this where you can randomize the light colors. I'll probably save that for a different tutorial than this one. Let's see, I think we're on the area light, so let's turn up the intensity just a touch. There we go. And we could click use nodes right here. And let's go to the shader editor real quick. Oh man, I'm getting kind of tired. And what we'll do is we'll come in here to the color and type in black for black body. And if you followed any of my other tutorials, or you've got my Light Magic add-on for the LM Studio, then you've got this setup right here. And street lights 2200 and sunset. So between that, so something like 2700 might look like a street light. So let's put 2700 in the black body. 2700. Oh, maybe it is 3200 the way it's going to look. That's fine. No big deal. Could turn that up a little bit. That looks cool. So now you've got a way to draw procedural street lights that are, you know, they're all nice and controlled by geometry nodes. You could pin that again. You can pull all the values out if you want. So I'll just go back into edit mode. And here's the cool thing. This always geeks me out. And just delete that. And I can left click, left click, left click, and start placing lights anywhere in the scene that I want. That's just drawing them on the surface. And if I wanted to, I could draw a bunch of lights outside as well. Go back into object mode. And there you go, guys. Now you got all this. You can pull all these values that you want out. Like the, let's see, the cylinder vertices. I mean, you could pull those. Look, that's a lot of stuff to pull out, though. What was this multiply? Oh, we already got that out. No, I didn't. I had it out earlier, but I cut it. And yeah, and there's so much more we could do with this, but I'm going to keep the tutorial short. I appreciate you guys watching. And if you want to pick up the LM Studio, it's priced pretty decent. It's got a megalith of options. It's got IES light setups built in. You can drop the IES nodes directly in. And so if I came over here, and let's see, is that point light? Which one is that dropped in with the data on it? Let's have to grab the lights. Yeah, I had my workspace pinned. No wonder I couldn't see anything. So I'll grab this light. Nope, this light. Okay, so 0.001 came in as an IES light, ready to go. And just so you can see, up here on the add-on, you can go in and find an IES texture, and it'll just drop it right in for you. And then the IES texture will control that light. And let me see, I want to grab that. Where is it? Right here. Let's bring the cursor to the selected, and let's drop a cube on top of that. Then hit G and X. I'm gonna have to go back solid view so I can see where that is. Yeah, I got it pretty good. All right, so this comes in, and if we can look at the light properties real quick, comes in at 1 milliwatt, already dumps all the black body, and everything is pretty much already ready to go for you. It comes in at 1500, so you would put this anywhere. You got the chart if you've got my add-on, and you don't have to be over there in that, because all this stuff is exposed here, all the different settings that you're actually going to need. And let me hide those. Why is it so bright in here? Let's turn that down. And so from here, you could turn up the emission or texture strength, whichever one you're using. And the IES lights are super cool. These are, and I could do this actually. I probably could do this for the point lights that are built in, so that the point lights just come down like a street light. You could do that too. And we'll save all that for another tutorial, but just so you can kind of see that the Light Magic Studio's got quite a few options. That's not even the half of it. I mean, you can sit there and play around with the global illumination, the HDRIs. I got a light manager built in. If you drop a camera in the scene, you get a camera manager, and then you can just grab that as the active camera. And then you've got all your camera controls. Down here, you've got to store object data properties, where you could grab the light and add the light. And then I can move the light down, and I think it's 0.01. So we'll change the color to like green and add that. And so if I go here, it's white and it's higher where it was, and then it's green and down a little bit lower. And so this is the object data properties, stores all kinds of stuff. And then I've got preset lights. You can refresh this, and you can drop a bunch of preset lights. I've got the shadow light in here. Really proud of this one. This one just comes straight up and gives you a lot of like perfect cloud backgrounds, cool shadows, things like that. And then of course you can do light linking with that. You don't have to have that on the particular mesh wherever you're at, okay? So go pick up this add-on. It's crazy. Link will be down in the description. Smash that subscribe, smash that like on the way out. See you guys in the next one. Happy blending.